Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Ohio EPA's A Deeper Dive into the Ohio Materials Marketplace webinar. My name is Dave Folks with the Office of Compliance Systems and Pollution Prevention here at Ohio EPA, and I will be moderating this morning's presentation with Jessica Dalzell of our Recycling and Sustainability Unit. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jessica Dalzell.
Thanks, Dave. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today as we take a deeper dive into the Ohio Materials Marketplace platform. Before we dive in, I want to give a brief overview of the Ohio Materials Marketplace for anyone that is not yet familiar with the site. The Ohio Materials Marketplace is a free online platform allowing businesses and organizations to connect and find reuse and recycling solutions for their waste and byproduct challenges. The Ohio Materials Marketplace allows companies, organizations, solid waste management districts, contractors, and others to come together to form byproduct and waste synergies. Transactions on the marketplace often involve a transporter because logistics is often one of the major hurdles of a successful transaction. Our solid waste management districts, such as SWACO here in Central Ohio, or Cuyahoga County Solid Waste Management District in Northern Ohio, are also important because of their regional awareness and connections with local businesses and organizations. These solid waste management districts throughout Ohio can also encourage their stakeholders to get involved and join the circular economy. Finally, we also partner with the Ohio Byproduct Synergy Network, a group of like-minded businesses and organizations that meet bi-monthly to discuss their material management issues and challenges, to brainstorm solutions with a goal of working for synergies, where they can discuss these materials and find new uses for them. The traditional material economy is linear, meaning that materials and resources are made into a product and then at the end of life are disposed of in a landfill, where these products or potential byproducts from their production cannot be used again. So why are byproduct synergies important? The goal is to extract as much life or usefulness out of a product as possible. By finding uses for materials that were previously discarded, the circular economy is inherently more sustainable, both financially and environmentally. Overhead costs can be reduced when substituting virgin materials for reprocessed feedstock. An organization might be paying to dispose of a material that has economic value to another organization. Avoiding landfill costs and tipping fees is financially and environmentally responsible. Also, since large quantities of waste can be diverted from landfills, achieving zero waste goals becomes more attainable. Ohio EPA has provided the Ohio Materials Marketplace as a tool to help promote the circular economy in Ohio. Participating on the marketplace can help meet some of these goals and establish your organization as a leader in Ohio's circular economy. So how has the Ohio Materials Marketplace helped create a circular economy here in Ohio? The site has 1,300 members throughout Ohio, plus members on other states' marketplace platforms, like in Michigan, Tennessee, and Washington. Based on transactions our users have reported, our members have diverted over 130 million pounds of materials from landfills and consequently have saved over $300,000 by finding alternative uses for their byproducts or by sourcing a material on the marketplace. Having a diverse portfolio of members on the marketplace is important to ensure that materials are able to be transacted more often than not. As a manufacturer, you can find new solutions for challenging waste and byproducts, perhaps sourcing recycled feedstocks from the marketplace. Entrepreneurs are also important to find suitable materials, innovate, and make connections to build new reuse and recycling business opportunities. As a recycler, strengthen the great work you are already doing and perhaps identify new customers and end markets for materials posted on the marketplace. At this point, we're going to go ahead and take our first poll. What is your role on the Ohio Materials Marketplace? Do you consider yourself a manufacturer, entrepreneur, recycler, other, or you're not sure? All right, great. It looks like we have a pretty good diverse group of people here attending the webinar. Looks like a few of you aren't sure yet what your role is, so hopefully by the end of this webinar, we can provide some more information on what role you might be able to fill. So now we are going to walk through the software of the Ohio Materials Marketplace. The marketplace software is provided by the United States Business Council for Sustainable Development and is monitored by the Recycling and Sustainability Unit here at the Ohio EPA. The marketplace is mobile device friendly, but these screenshots are taken from the computer layout of the platform. If you are not already a member on the marketplace, please feel free to reach out via the question function or reach out after the webinar and we will send you an invitation link to get signed up. To start a listing, either for a wanted material or for a material you are looking to get rid of, you will click the Post a New Listing button in the top right corner of the screen. Once you click on this, you will be directed to a list of categories to choose from for your material. Select which category is most applicable to your item or material. You will then also select a subcategory based on the primary category you selected. After that, you will select whether the material is a wanted material or available material. Each of these selections assist members in searching for your material on the website. Next, you fill out the listing information, including the title, photos of the material, price and unit of measurement, and a brief description. You will also complete the amount of material you have and how often the material will be available or how often it is generated. Remember that the more details you provide, the easier it is for other members to decide if your material will be useful to them. Photos of the material also tend to increase viewership on the listing, so we always recommend that you include as many photos as possible. At the bottom of the page, you will complete your listing by hitting Submit. Once you submit your listing, it becomes live for other members to view. You will get a message at the top of your screen that tells you your listing was created, as seen here. And we're going to take another poll. Have you posted a listing for a material, either a wanted or available material, on the Ohio Materials Marketplace? Yes, no, or I am not yet a member. Great. It looks like some of you have already made a listing on our marketplace, which is great. It looks like quite a few of you are not yet a member, so we would love for you to reach out to us and get an invitation link so we can get you started in the Ohio Materials Marketplace. When you sign into the marketplace, your home screen will show you listings from all operating platforms, including Texas and Ontario. To view listings specifically in Ohio, click the Ohio button at the top of your screen. You can also change your page to map view to allow you to see listings based on their geographical location. The blue circles with the number portray numerous listings in an area, whereas the red location markers signify a single listing in that area. If you zoom in or click on the blue icons, the individual listing will come into view. As you can see in this image, there are about 10 listings posted just south of Dayton. To view a listing from the map view, you click on the red location marker and a pop-up will appear with the listing information, similar to the image here on the right. You are also able to search for either specific materials near your location or all listings near your location by typing in the search and location bar. Once you select the location and hit the magnifying glass, your page will be updated to reflect listings near you. In this example, I'm searching for all listings near Columbus, Ohio. As you can see in the top right corner, I have a listing posted titled Test Listing. If I click on that listing, I am able to see all of the information that was provided related to the material. Once you click on a listing, you can start communicating with the owner of the listing by clicking on the Start Conversation button on the right-hand side. On the marketplace, starting conversations with other members regarding their listings is crucial in sourcing material and establishing synergies. Within your conversation, you can ask about additional material details, transportation logistics, and any recurring partnerships that may be possible moving forward. Your message chain will show previous messages regarding a listing so that you can look back on details that were previously shared between you and the listing owner. You are automatically opted into receiving email notifications when you receive a message on the marketplace. By clicking on the Reply To button at the bottom of the email, you will be directed straight to your account inbox where you can then reply to messages. If your notification settings need changed, click on your profile icon in the top right corner of the page and a drop-down box will appear. You will click on the Settings button on the right-hand side of the drop-down menu. The settings page allows you to make edits to your profile information, your listings, and more. To edit your notification settings, you will click on Notifications on the left-hand side. Make sure any items that you want to receive notifications for, including receiving a message, a comment on your listing, or an offer has been made on your listing, are checked. Like I mentioned, all of these are automatically checked when you sign up for the marketplace and will only be deactivated if you go in and unactivate them. Once you have selected or unselected the options you want, you will hit the Save button at the bottom. So you have made a transaction with another member. We want to hear about it. We consider the reporting a transaction the most important step in the marketplace process. Once a transaction has occurred, we ask that you, whether you be the taker or the giver, fill out a transaction report. You will do so by clicking on the Report Transaction button at the top of your page. This redirects you to a form to fill out with information regarding the transaction. We ask that you fill out this form whenever a material has been transacted so that our data accurately reflects the amount of material being diverted from landfills and the amount of money our members are saving by using this platform. This helps us at Ohio EPA continue to offer this platform at no charge to our members. After you complete the form, you'll hit the Submit button at the bottom and our team will automatically be notified that a transaction occurred. What happens if your material hasn't found a new life yet? Listings automatically expire after 6 months after creation in order to prevent outdated listings from becoming stagnant on the homepage. So if your material has not found a new home in that period, please be sure to edit or update your listing. You will start this process by clicking the Edit Listing button on the right-hand side of your listing page. After clicking Edit Listing, you will be redirected to the information page of your listing. In order to renew the listing, you will update the expiration date with a new expiration date up to 6 months from the current date. Please keep your listing up to date by editing the listing to accurately reflect any new information as that information becomes available. At this point, you're free to add any additional photos, details, transportation logistics, etc., that might become available as your listing exists on the marketplace. All right, we're going to take our last poll now. Do you foresee the materials marketplace playing a role in your organization's waste and reduction goals? Yes, no, unsure, or again, you're not yet a member of the materials marketplace. Great. It looks like a good chunk of you are interested in the materials marketplace playing a role in your organization's waste reduction goals, which is great to hear. The persons on this webinar that are not yet a member, we look forward to reaching out to you and communicating to see how we might be able to make the marketplace a key player in your waste reduction goals at your organization. All right, and in order to increase our membership and transactions occurring on the platform, we have started revamping our marketing strategy for the Ohio Materials Marketplace. As part of this initiative, our Ohio EPA social media is now featuring Marketplace Monday tweets and posts such as this one to increase viewership on featured listings. So these tweets are going out regularly. You might have seen them already. The one on the left here is an example that went out back in April. Additionally, we send out monthly email newsletters to all members with a summary of updates from the previous month, including featured listings that were posted during that month, new members that joined during that month, and any upcoming events such as this webinar. We are also increasing our partnerships with Ohio councils and organizations to promote greater opportunities for synergies throughout the state. So we're really hoping to get more members on the platform to grow our viewership and allow more transactions to take place on the platform. We know that more members increases our odds of having more transactions take place, and that's ultimately the goal, to help Ohio organizations and businesses increase the transactions that allow them to reach their waste reduction goals.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. We are now going to begin answering the questions submitted during today's presentation. As a reminder, you can still submit questions through the questions pane on your attendee interface. We will do our best to answer these questions as many as possible, but if we don't answer all of them, or they might require more of a specific follow-up or direct conversation, during the Q&A portion, no worries. We'll reach out to you following today's webinar via email and touch base. There, Jessica, the first question, that came in is, does it cost anything to post material? Does it cost anything to take material?
It does not cost anything to post a material. The Ohio Materials Marketplace is a free platform, so all of our members are welcome to join at no cost to them. Some members will post a listing that has a fee associated with transacting the material. So if I go back a couple of pages here, we can take a look at what it looks like when a listing has a fee associated with it. Let's see. Sorry, give me 1 second here. So if we're looking at the screen here, this sand and rock fill material is $1 per unit. So that means that the owner of that listing is charging a fee for their material, but other materials are at no cost. So it really depends on what material you're looking to purchase or accept. So not all materials will come at a fee and not all are free. It really depends on the owner of the listing.
Great, thanks. We had a question that came in another one through the chat, and I think it's a good one to answer. For kind of the group, since we have a bunch of new folks that maybe aren't aware of the marketplace or haven't signed up yet, can an individual use the site, or is it only for businesses and organizations?
Sure. So this one's a little complicated. Dave, I might ask for your help on this. Typically, they are businesses and organizations, nonprofits. Dave, I'll refer to you for that.
Yeah, this is a good question. We usually it has to be some sort of organization, business, or nonprofit. This can't be like a citizen for information. That's kind of where the idea here is. So we have expanded, like I said, with nonprofits and schools and those things, but it's meant for an organization versus just open to the public. There are other avenues, for the public to find outlets for material, usually, through your solid waste management district, or you can donate things through, Goodwill and Salvation Army and Habitat Restores. So this is kind of more for those type of things. But that's a good question.
I would say that the materials tend to be larger in quantity
yes.
as well. So traditionally not what a single person would have in their home.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good catch too. It's more of a quantity thing too. Oh, the other one, kind of Jessica, I think it's good, kind of more about the nuts and bolts of the transaction process. If you successfully make a transaction, there are no longer any items available. Does initial post for the product that then have to be manually deleted? So I think that's kind of getting into questions. Another one we had come across about, does your post expire? So you need to
yeah, sure thing. So a listing is not automatically taken down. You can go to your listing page and close the listing once the transaction has taken place if your material is no longer available. So if it was a one-time deal and you're not going to have any additional material, we do ask that you go on and close your listing so that it is no longer able to be, people aren't clicking on it and trying to inquire with you if they can take your material. So that is unfortunately something that right now you do have to do manually.
Great. Thanks for that answer. There are a lot in the chat. There's a lot of folks saying, hey, send me an invite. And that's great. We can send, you can send an email and sign up, or we can send you an invite. So while the session's running, if you, to make it easy, just chat in like, hey, send me an invite. We've already had a number to do that with your email and your name, first and last name. And then we'll make sure after the fact we can document all this or collect all this material. We'll be able to send you an invite after the fact. And because there's a lot of questions coming in, we're answering that for everybody on that one. Another one that came in is is there a limit, Jessica, to how many items I can post?
There is no limit to how many items that you can post. We do have quite a few members that post several listings at a time. You're welcome to do that. There is no restriction on how often you post or the amount of material that you're posting within a listing. So it's really about the material that you have available or the material that you're seeking, and hopefully finding a connection that can utilize that quantity of material.
Great. Another one just came in. Good one. Does the offering business handle all the transaction communications with the entity wanting our material?
Yes. So we at the Ohio EPA tend to take a back seat to any transactions that take place. So all communication will be between you and the owner of the listing. So we will not participate. Sometimes we do assist if it looks like a member is not communicating as frequently as the person is looking for. So we'll hop on and say, hey, just a reminder, you have somebody interested in your listing. Or if there's some additional information needed regarding some EPA regulation or any kind of assistance that we can provide in that manner, we will definitely help out. But we are kind of just mediators in the process. We like you to sort out your own logistics.
Yeah. Thanks, Jessica. And there was a question that came in. We're going to probably set up a call, but the big picture question too, can outside organizations outside the state of Ohio join the marketplace? And go ahead, Jessica. I'll have something to add too if you don't cover it, but
sure. Yeah, so several different marketplace platforms exist throughout the United States. I mentioned before, also in Canada. So there's Ontario, Texas, Washington, Tennessee, Michigan. So this platform is definitely growing, and we're hoping that eventually it will take place in all 50 states. However, at the moment, if you are an organization outside of Ohio and your state doesn't offer a marketplace platform, we do require that you have an address in Ohio in order to utilize the Ohio marketplace. So if you have a satellite office or an operation facility in Ohio, but your main corporate office isn't in Ohio or a similar situation, you're still more than welcome to sign up as long as you do have a facility here in the state.
Yeah, and that's a good question because we do have business organizations that go across the state, and if material is moving, if there's material wanted, outside of the state, that's one thing. But bringing materials into the state, because the goal of this is in Ohio and all of the platforms is again to the life and keep the impact out of the landfill. So, but that's something we can discuss if people have questions, because they might be able to, they might have a location or a partner in Ohio where they could list through them. And kind of like Jessica, kind of building on that, we've already asked this, am I allowed to communicate with users off the platform? This is a good question, and kind of leads into another question came in about the transaction report. Let's start with communicating with users outside the platform.
Sure, absolutely. So we will never require that you communicate entirely on the platform. Most conversations obviously do start on the platform so that you can get connected with another member. However, if it is easier for you to have a phone call or an email conversation, that is absolutely welcome. We do ask that if the conversation ends up taking place off the marketplace, that you do just go ahead and fill out the transaction form when the transaction's taken place. But there are no restrictions to taking your connection off of the platform. You're more than welcome to maintain that synergy on your own as well.
And Jessica, that was a great segue into another question. Why is it important to fill out the transaction report?
Yeah, absolutely. So the transaction report is the key source of all of our data for the marketplace. So as I mentioned before, all of our data regarding the number of materials that have been transactioned, the poundage, the amount of money saved, all of that data comes from the transaction reports. So in order to us in order for us to keep offering this platform as a free service to our state, we really need to justify that the marketplace is contributing in the circular economy. So we want to make sure that the marketplace is helping these organizations throughout Ohio divert some of their materials from a landfill. So by filling out the transaction report, you're really verifying that this service is useful and that there are uses for these materials that otherwise would be going straight to the landfill.
Yeah, that's very important. Like Jessica said, the trash kind of on the back end, it's important for us to show the benefits and to show that, you know, there's value in the platform, which we know there is, but, you know, we have those numbers are important. There's another good question came in, and again, it's we have people here kind of excited about the platform and how we can grow it, and, you know, how can like users or attendees help their states, like if they're on Ohio, move forward and grow on a platform like the marketplace?
That's a good question.
Very good question.
I don't know if I have a great answer for it, but I know that having the need for it is definitely present in many states.
Yeah.
So, Dave, I'm not sure if you can speak to how the U.S. Building Council got started and.
Yeah, I can cover that a little bit. Yeah, it started as a pilot project back in 2016 in Austin, Texas. The United States Business Council for Sustainable Development started it, and, you know, like Jessica mentioned, it has now grown to a platform that includes Tennessee, Michigan, Washington, actually Ontario, the province of Ontario, and in Ohio, and then Austin, Texas. So there are, as you see, with Michigan and Ohio board each other, so there's some synergies there. And when you join the marketplace, you can access all the postings and listings from the other state platforms too. I guess we do know there's a push, and there's going to be more updates coming in the future where the platform is looking to become a national platform. That's the goal, where like all 50 states would be involved or everybody eligible. So I guess from that question, like, how can I help my state get there? Like if it's West Virginia or Kentucky or some state like as close to Ohio, you know, that's the start is, you know, we can set up a call. We can connect you with the organizations that run the platform and start that way. Cause no, that's how we started. We found out about it. We made a push for it, and we're able to get enough interest to go down that path. Okay, there's a couple other rolled in. We still have some time here. So there's let's see that. This is something we've had before. Some people, we're trying to fix this. I was waiting for this question to come in, but they get messages. People have tried to sign up in their inbox, but they never receive notification. Is there something they're missing when they're trying to sign up?
When they're trying to sign up, sure. Yeah, so this is a reoccurring issue that we've definitely heard about. Like I mentioned before, we do not operate the software, so unfortunately this is something that we cannot fix yet. However, the best way that we have been able to circumvent this issue is to send you an invitation directly. So if you reach out to us, we are more than happy to send over an invitation. This will email you a link. And it basically will skip the step in the process where your account is pending. So if you reach out to us with any issues regarding setting up your account, we'll just send you over an invitation link. You'll get an email, you'll click on it, and you'll be good to go to set up your profile. Again, I know that's kind of an inconvenient way to go about it, but we do know that that is a method that does work.
All right, there's another question that came in. How do we avoid a cradle to grave violation if another company takes waste and ends up doing something wrong, like dump an environment? That's a good question. If you want to take a stab at it, and I think I can add to it too.
Yeah, Dave, you have the pollution prevention expertise, so I'll let you tackle that one.
so yeah, this has always been brought up with materials. We manage the platform, the marketplace. You know, we have, when you sign up, there's a disclaimer that you'll follow all rules and laws. that hasn't been an issue yet where like somebody else uses it wrong. That's why the platform has all these options to submit like MSDS sheets, or they call them SDS sheets, right? Safety data sheets, and any information. And we have the system to go back and forth and communicate with a taker or somebody that has material to make sure that, all questions are answered. So the liability, there's no liability issues on the person that's providing it or the organization that's taking it. And usually, like there's outlets for hazard materials. If there's anything that's going to have posted here, it could be universal waste. It could be considered universal waste, but at this point, since it's being posted, it's not considered a waste. And if there's any questions about that, we, since OCAP, Office of Compliance, since the Pollution Prevention runs this and we're a non-regulatory entity, and that's not the intent here is to get involved on the regulatory side of things. But if that issue comes up, we can set up a call, talk with the regulatory side of Ohio EPA and make sure everything's covered. But honestly, that question, it's still on the company making the posting to make sure that whoever's taking it is doing with it what is right. We don't have the resources set up to verify that. But that hasn't been an issue that we know of in the years of platforms running, even talking with the other state platforms and programs. So they added spent solvent. That one's a little trickier. You can, again, it's making sure you're following the regulations. If and most times spent solvent, there's already outlets for, if it's going to be reclaimed, there's companies out there. If there's going to be, if it's going for fuel blending or being used at cement kilns, that's usually we don't see those posted. It's not spent, and more it might be like off spec or older solvent, that somebody didn't use. So, and that's where you get into where they're trying to find, that's the whole point of the marketplace is trying to find a better use the life management solution or like a fuel blending type of solution. So we did have I appreciate everybody putting in a chat, like send me an invite. So we have a handful of those coming in. And then we did have we do have some additional folks that would like to talk a little more after fact. And I think we'll be reaching out to you and following up with any questions we didn't answer to the group, or if you'll see on the next slide we have our email contact information. You can email us directly. So with that, we're going to start wrapping things up, and I want to thank Jessica for providing a great overview and a deeper dive into the Ohio Materials Marketplace, and thank you for everyone for attending today's webinar. I also want to thank our behind-the-scenes team for making this webinar run smoothly. We always have a great team here that's helping answer the questions that come in the chat or dealing with any people that have connection issues with the GoToWebinar platform. So we appreciate that. We'd like to bring to your attention our Encouraging Environmental Excellence program, which recognizes entities for exceptional achievements in environmental stewardship. Is your organization going beyond to reduce your environmental impact? Examples could include lighting retrofits, reducing water energy use, recycling efforts, and process improvement. Or is your community implementing sustainable measures to reduce their environmental impact? Examples include community gardening, energy, water reduction, green roofs, smart transportation. And then many of us have kids in school. Is your K-12 student implementing student-led sustainability activities at your school? Examples could include encouraging recycling or increasing recycling, water bottle refilling stations, anti-idling policies with the bus and transportation system, any type of zero waste efforts. This program has different levels of recognition for organizations, communities, and schools. So please go to our website. It's on the slide here at epa.ohio.gov/DFA, or you can add one more thing, /Ohio E3, and you can learn more about this program. Before we end our session today, please check out our upcoming sessions. We have 3 that are coming in the near future. First one is regulation and funding of household sewage treatment systems in Ohio. So this webinar is on June 9th. You can learn more or how household sewage treatment systems are regulated by local health districts, the Ohio Health Department, Department of Health, and Ohio EPA. You can also learn about the grant opportunities available for local health districts to assist low-income homeowners in repairing or replacing failing systems and connecting failing systems them to the public sewers. The next section is on June 21st. It's stormwater permitting requirements for industrial activities under the new 2022 general permit. Attend this session to learn more about the new Ohio EPA industrial stormwater permit and notable changes from previous general permits and how to renew your coverage or obtain initial coverage. Finally, the last webinar we have right now scheduled is the July 19th, and it's Air Pollution Risk Management Program for Drinking Water and Wastewater Treatment Plant Superintendents and Operators. So this webinar will focus on the basics of a risk management program, RMP, as directed and how it applies to both wastewater treatment plants and wastewater treatment and drinking water plants. The intent of the RMP is to put requirements in place to help minimize and prevent accidental release of spills from happening. To register for these upcoming webinars or future webinars beyond that, check out our new agency event calendar it's at our EPA page, epa.ohio.gov/about/media center events. And again, this should be all on the slides as their handout. So the slides have the link will work. So if you click on the slides, it'll take you right to the page. So you don't have to type it in. The events calendar is on our main webpage, and the link is also on our webpage footer at the bottom of each webpage. To receive notifications of upcoming webinars, go to our Ohio EPA Customer Support Center. You can create an account and then go to the option Subscribe to Updates, and then select the subscription option named All Trainings, Webinars, and Conferences at the link on this slide here. It's the EPACustomerHelp.com page. And this is the Customer Support Center link. It's also at the bottom of each of our agency webpage, like I mentioned earlier. If you missed past webinars, you can also go to DEFA webpage at the link on the slide, epa.ohio.gov division's offices, and has DEFA on it and training. Once you're on the EPA webpage, you just click on the word training on the left-hand menu column. Here you will find recordings of trainings that you may have missed. And you can also go to our agency YouTube channel and view the recorded webinars. We will post the recording of this webinar on our YouTube channel. It usually the webinar. We'll also post a PDF copy of the PowerPoint slides with the recording in case you weren't able to download it today. The YouTube channel link can be found at the bottom on each of our web pages on the footer again. The YouTube icon is next to the Twitter icon at the bottom right side. And with that, we will end today's webinar. I want to thank you again for joining us and wish everyone a great day.